London is one of the best places in the world for haunted pubs. With its long history of crime, executions, and mysterious deaths, many old pubs have ghost stories linked to them. From spooky figures seen in the dark to eerie sounds and objects moving on their own, these haunted pubs attract ghost hunters and thrill seekers. Whether it's the spirit of a highwayman, a murdered victim, or a mischievous ghost playing tricks, London's pubs are full of chilling tales that make them both exciting and eerie places to visit. Now we will visit the most haunted pubs in London. Number 1. The 10 Bells. The 10 Bells, located in Spitalfields, is one of London's most haunted pubs, deeply connected to the terrifying history of Jack the Ripper. This pub, standing since at least the 18th century, has witnessed chilling murders, ghostly apparitions, and eerie paranormal activity, making it a hotspot for ghost hunters and thrill seekers. The most famous and terrifying connection of the 10 Bells is to Jack the Ripper, the unidentified serial killer who terrorized London in 1888. Two of his victims, Mary Kelly and Annie Chapman, were believed to have visited or been seen near this pub before their brutal murders. Mary Kelly, his last and most gruesomely killed victim, was reportedly a regular at the 10 Bells. Some believe her restless spirit still lingers in the pub. Over the years, many staff members and visitors have reported strange happenings. A ghostly old man in Victorian clothing has been seen standing at the top of the pub's staircase before mysteriously disappearing. Some believe he was a former landlord or an unfortunate victim of crime in the area. Another chilling story comes from the 1990s when a young bartender was alone in the pub and suddenly felt an invisible force push him violently across the room. Glasses and bottles have been known to fall off shelves without explanation, and visitors often report sudden cold spots and a feeling of being watched. Annie Chapman, one of Jack the Ripper's victims, was last seen outside the 10 Bells before she was murdered. Some visitors claim to have seen a shadowy figure of a woman in old-fashioned clothing, believed to be Annie's spirit. Others have reported whispers, cries, and the eerie feeling of someone standing behind them when no one is there. The 10 Bells is not just a historic pub, it is a chilling reminder of London's dark past. Whether it's the spirits of Jack the Ripper's victims or other unknown ghosts, the eerie atmosphere keeps drawing people in. If you ever visit, be prepared for an unforgettable and possibly supernatural experience. Number 2. The Old Queen's Head. The Old Queen's Head, located in Islington, is one of the most haunted pubs in London, known for its eerie atmosphere and chilling ghost stories. This historic pub, dating back to the 16th century, has been the site of numerous paranormal occurrences, with many visitors and staff witnessing ghostly apparitions, unexplained noises, and objects moving on their own. The pub's long and sometimes violent history has left behind spirits that refuse to leave, making it a hotspot for supernatural activity. One of the most famous ghosts at the Old Queen's Head is that of a young girl, whose presence has been reported for many years. Visitors often hear her footsteps running up and down the stairs, despite no one being there. Some have even claimed to hear childlike laughter and crying, especially on the upper floor. The identity of the girl is unknown, but some believe she may have been a victim of tragedy within the pub's walls, possibly murdered or having died under mysterious circumstances. Another chilling spirit said to haunt the pub is that of a tall man in old-fashioned clothing, often seen near the fireplace. Witnesses describe feeling a sudden drop in temperature before seeing his shadowy figure appear and then fade away. Some believe he may have been a former landlord or a regular patron from centuries past who has never truly left. One of the most terrifying paranormal encounters happened to a group of people enjoying a drink when they suddenly heard loud, heavy footsteps stomping across the ceiling, even though no one was upstairs. When staff went to investigate, they found the room completely empty. Similar incidents have occurred multiple times, leaving visitors shaken. Staff members working late at night have reported doors slamming shut on their own, bottles and glasses being thrown off shelves, and even the sensation of being touched by unseen hands. Some have felt a cold breath on their necks, only to turn around and find no one there. The pub's restrooms in particular are known for their unsettling energy, with guests often feeling like they are being watched or hearing strange whispers in their ears. Despite its ghostly reputation, the Old Queen's Head remains a popular pub, attracting those eager to experience its haunted history firsthand. Whether it's the ghostly girl running through the halls, the shadowy man near the fireplace, or the unexplained noises from above, this pub is one of the most active paranormal locations in London. Number 3. The Volunteer. The Volunteer, located on Baker Street, is one of the most haunted pubs in London, with a chilling history that dates back centuries. Built on the site of the former manor house of the Neville family, this pub has long been associated with paranormal activity, with many visitors and staff reporting ghostly encounters, eerie whispers, and unexplained movements. The land itself carries a dark past, with stories of tragedy and death, fueling the belief that restless spirits still linger within its walls. One of the most well-known spirits haunting the Volunteer is that of a mysterious man, often seen as a shadowy figure standing silently in the corners of the pub. Witnesses describe feeling an intense cold presence before spotting the ghost, who then vanishes into thin air. Some believe he was once a resident of the manor house that previously stood on the site, while others think he may have been a soldier who met an untimely death. His presence is most often felt in the basement and near the back rooms, where people report feeling watched or suddenly overwhelmed by unease. Perhaps the most terrifying paranormal experience associated with the Volunteer is the spirit of a screaming woman. According to legend, a fire once broke out on the site, trapping a woman inside. Some say she was a servant, while others believe she was a member of the Neville family. Her ghost has been heard wailing in agony, particularly late at night, and some have even claimed to see a woman's ghostly face in the upstairs windows before it vanishes. The sound of faint sobbing has also been reported when the pub is empty. Visitors and staff have frequently encountered objects moving on their own, doors swinging open without reason, and glasses shattering unexpectedly. Bartenders have described hearing their names whispered when no one else is around, and some have even felt a ghostly hand touch their shoulder. The basement in particular has an oppressive atmosphere, with reports of sudden drops in temperature and the feeling of being watched by something unseen. Despite its eerie reputation, the Volunteer remains a popular pub, attracting both history lovers and paranormal enthusiasts hoping to experience its haunted past. Whether it's the shadowy man, the screaming woman, or the countless unexplained occurrences, the Volunteer is undeniably one of the most haunted locations in London. Those brave enough to visit might just leave with their own ghostly tale to tell. Number 4. The Bowes Bells. The Bow Bells, located in the East End of London, is one of the city's most haunted pubs, with a reputation for eerie occurrences and ghostly disturbances that have left visitors and staff shaken. This historic pub, standing for centuries, has been the site of unexplained paranormal activity, mysterious voices, and chilling apparitions, making it one of London's most unsettling drinking spots. The most infamous haunting at the Bow Bells is the spirit of a mischievous ghost that has been tormenting both staff and customers for years. The entity, often referred to as a playful poltergeist, is known for causing disruptions, such as turning the pub's taps on and off, moving objects without explanation, and even flushing the toilets when no one is in the restroom. Some visitors have heard eerie childlike laughter, even when no children were present, suggesting that the spirit may be that of a young ghost trapped in the pub. One of the strangest and most terrifying encounters occurred when a new bartender challenged the ghost after experiencing repeated disturbances. Frustrated by the unexplained activity, he loudly demanded that the ghost make itself known. Within moments, a glass flew off the shelf and shattered on the floor, despite no one being near it. The incident was so unsettling that the bartender quit shortly afterward, refusing to work in the pub again. Other reports include disembodied voices calling out names, particularly in the back rooms and basement area. Staff members have reported hearing their names whispered in their ears, only to turn around and find no one there. Some have also felt sudden cold chills and an unseen presence standing right behind them, making them feel as though they are never truly alone in the building. Visitors sitting at the bar have experienced sudden gusts of cold air, as if something had just rushed past them, even when all windows and doors were shut. In one particularly creepy case, a patron felt a ghostly hand touch their back, only to turn around and see no one nearby. The most unsettling aspect of this haunting is that the activity seems to increase when people talk about the ghost, as if it knows it is being discussed and wants to make its presence known. Despite its haunted reputation, the Bowbells remains a beloved pub, attracting those curious about the supernatural. Whether it's the playful poltergeist, the unexplained whispers, or the chilling encounters, this pub continues to be one of the most haunted spots in London, where the spirits refuse to rest. Number 5. The Prospect of Whitby. The Prospect of Whitby, located in Wapping, is one of London's most famous and haunted pubs, with a history dating back over 500 years. Overlooking the River Thames, this pub has witnessed centuries of crime, executions, and piracy, leaving behind a chilling atmosphere filled with ghostly activity. It is believed to be haunted by several spirits, the most infamous being Judge Jeffreys, also known as the Hanging Judge. Judge Jeffreys was notorious for his brutal rulings in the 17th century, sentencing hundreds of people to execution. Legend has it that he frequently visited the Prospect of Whitby and even conducted some of his grim business there. The pub's riverside location made it a prime spot for public executions, where criminals and pirates were hanged on a scaffold and left to die as a warning to others. Many believe that the spirits of these unfortunate souls still haunt the area, unable to find peace. Some visitors have reported seeing a ghostly figure dressed in a judge's robes standing near the staircase before vanishing into thin air. Others claim to have felt an unseen force push or grab them while walking through the pub. One of the most terrifying paranormal encounters involves the phantom of a hanged man. Several witnesses have reported seeing a shadowy figure hanging from an invisible noose near the river outside the pub, only for it to disappear moments later. Some have even heard the sounds of creaking ropes and desperate gasps, as if the spirits of those executed here are still reliving their final moments. Staff members have experienced objects moving on their own, doors slamming shut without reason, and sudden cold chills, even in the warmest months. Many have also reported hearing footsteps and whispers in empty rooms, and some refuse to be alone in the building after dark. There are also stories of an eerie woman in gray who has been spotted sitting alone at a table, only to vanish when approached. Despite its haunted history, the Prospect of Whitby remains a popular and atmospheric pub, attracting ghost hunters and thrill seekers eager to experience the paranormal. With its dark past, ghostly sightings, and unsettling presence, this pub is considered one of the most haunted places in London. Those brave enough to visit may find themselves encountering spirits from centuries past, forever trapped in the shadows of the Prospect of Whitby. Number 6. The Cockpit. The Cockpit, located in Blackfriars, is one of London's most haunted pubs, steeped in a dark and eerie history. This historic pub stands on a site that dates back centuries and was once a venue for the brutal blood sport of cockfighting, from which it takes its name. Over the years, visitors and staff have reported chilling encounters, ghostly apparitions, and unexplained disturbances, making the Cockpit one of the most haunted locations in the city. One of the most infamous spirits said to haunt the Cockpit is that of a restless gambler who met a violent end within the pub's walls. According to legend, this man was a frequent visitor during the days of cockfighting, betting heavily on the brutal contests. One night, after losing a fortune, he was caught cheating and was either murdered in a fit of rage or took his own life in despair. His ghost has been seen wandering the pub, especially near the old cockfighting pit, and many visitors report hearing the eerie sound of coins dropping onto the floor, even when no one is there. Another well-known haunting is that of a mysterious dark figure who appears in the pub's basement. Staff members have reported feeling a sudden cold presence and witnessing shadows moving on their own. One former bartender claimed to have seen a tall man in old-fashioned clothing standing silently in the corner, only for him to vanish when approached. Some believe this is the spirit of a former landlord or a victim of a gambling dispute that turned deadly. Many visitors also report hearing ghostly whispers and disembodied laughter, as if the spirits of past patrons are still lingering, enjoying the gambling and drinking from centuries ago. Others have spoken of glasses moving by themselves, chairs mysteriously shifting, and an unsettling feeling of being watched, particularly on the upper floor where the cockfights once took place. One of the most terrifying encounters happened to a visitor who was alone in the restroom. They suddenly felt an intense pressure on their chest, as if someone was trying to push them down, followed by the sound of raspy breathing in their ear. Panicked, they ran out and refused to return. Despite its eerie reputation, the Cockpit remains a beloved historic pub, drawing in ghost hunters and thrill seekers hoping to catch a glimpse of its restless spirits. Whether it's the ghost of the doomed gambler, the shadowy figure in the basement, or the echoes of the violent past, the Cockpit is undoubtedly one of London's most haunted pubs. Number 7. The Lamb and Flag. The Lamb and Flag in Covent Garden is one of London's most haunted pubs, with a dark and violent history dating back to the 17th century. Known as a rough and rowdy establishment in the past, it was once nicknamed the Bucket of Blood due to the brutal fights and deadly brawls that took place there. Many believe that the spirits of those who met their tragic ends within its walls still linger, making it a hotspot for paranormal activity. One of the most famous hauntings is believed to be connected to a violent attack on poet John Dryden in 1679. Dryden, a well-known literary figure, was ambushed and beaten in the alleyway next to the pub, possibly due to his political and literary rivalries. Some say his restless spirit can still be felt in the pub, with reports of an uneasy presence near the alley, shadowy figures moving in the corner of the eye, and sudden cold chills that send shivers down visitors' spines. Another ghost said to haunt the Lamb and Flag is that of a murdered brawler who lost his life in one of the pub's infamous fistfights. Back when bare-knuckle boxing matches were a common form of entertainment in the upper rooms, some fighters never made it out alive. Patrons have reported hearing the sounds of distant punches, groans, and cries of pain late at night, as if echoes of past battles still resonate within the walls. Some have even claimed to feel a sudden, unseen force shove them, as if they had been caught in the middle of a ghostly brawl. The upper floor of the pub is said to be one of the most haunted areas, with people experiencing unexplained cold spots, flickering lights, and the sound of phantom footsteps pacing above, even when the rooms are empty. Staff members closing up late at night have reported hearing whispers and murmurs, as if a group of unseen drinkers were still gathered, talking in hushed voices. One particularly chilling story comes from a former bartender who claimed to have seen a spectral man in 18th century clothing standing by the fireplace. When he turned to speak, the figure vanished into thin air. Other staff members have reported feeling a strange presence behind them, only to find no one there. Despite its eerie history, the Lamb and Flag remains a popular pub, drawing in visitors eager to experience its historic charm and perhaps a ghostly encounter. Whether it's the spirit of John Dryden, the ghostly brawler, or the echoes of long-forgotten fights, the pub is one of the most haunted places in Covent Garden, where the past refuses to stay buried.